Radio.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rad One Radio. I'm very excited today because I have with me one of my favorite stars of my favorite show growing up, which is Dallas, of course, and she starred in Walker, Texas Ranger for 9 seasons, and I'm talking about Sheree J. Wilson. Hey, Sheree, how are you?
I'm fabulous. Even better now that I'm talking to you.
Well, thank you so much. Now, I grew up watching Dallas, and I think that your character was the reason that I would still watch during the last 5 seasons. And I was I was devastated when you died or when April died.
You know, always in life you learn lessons, and sometimes the hard way, sometimes the fateful way. But I was actually pregnant with my first child when I married Bobby Ewing. And I knew it was our last season. So I went to Leonard Katzman, our executive producer, and I said, kill me off in grand fashion. I don't want to just like kind of disappear wimpy or something like that. I want to go out with a bang. So he honored my wishes, going out with a bang, multiple bangs. Yeah. Bang, 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 you're dead. Had I known 20 years later they were going to be back, I would have never killed myself.
Right. Well, actually, I have a really good way to bring April back. I thought of this when I was a kid, you know. Because,
okay. Let me hear it.
All right. Well, we never saw the body.
That's true.
And it is a soap opera. So, you know, she could have been.
That is true.
There could have been some kind of double or something, Susan Lucci, concocting some plan with the terrorists. She could have been held hostage all this time.
They do that in Mission Impossible all the time. They put that face over.
Yeah, they do it on General Hospital all the time. You know?
Exactly, General Hospital.
So it wouldn't even have to be a dream, you know.
I know. I said, this is a bad joke, but I said, well, there's always a shower scene. Mine would be more interesting than Bobby's.
That is so funny.
Terrible.
No, but I was really devastated when they killed you off, and they kept you in the credits, kind of misleading the audience, thinking that, maybe she's not really dead. You know, like.
Well, I haunted him for about, I think, 6 episodes in his dreams, and then that little baby that he woke up in the dream, and it was a little pink blanket. That was Luke, my baby. I actually used my own child as the actor to. Poor Bobby, haunted Bobby.
Well, when they had the very first episode of the season, I know they did this season on Dallas, and they showed a lot of scenes, and then they showed April showing Bobby the baby. So, of course, when April died, and then they kept you in the credits, I thought, she's not dead because she and Bobby have a baby.
It's terrible how they lure you in and sometimes trick you, but. No, I actually, Soap Opera Digest Awards awarded me the best death scene.
I know.
I didn't know there was such a category.
It was.
No, but I mean, I think you're going to have to start writing to TNT and tell them, we've got the April storyline down. Nobody ever saw the body. She didn't die.
I will tweet them. Because I know I'm not alone. I've seen other people, you know, on Facebook and Twitter. A lot of soap fans follow me because I talk to mostly soap actors on my show, and I've definitely seen other people wanting April back.
Well, I better start following you. Am I not following you
I
yet?
just did, actually. I just followed you. Rad One Radio.
Okay, Rad One Radio. Okay. I will follow you back.
Awesome. So now... I read that you actually started modeling because you were mistaken for a model on the shoot.
Well, I did. It was so funny because I was putting myself through college, and I've been an athlete my whole life, and pretty lean, and but then when you're putting yourself through college and you have X amount of dollars to buy X amount of food, you get really skinny.
Yeah, ramen noodles.
Ramen noodles are my very best friend. A lot of tuna fish and ramen noodles. But yes, I was getting a degree in business and fashion merchandising because my parents didn't believe that acting was a real career. When I said I wanted to be an actress, they're like, huh? You're a podunk from Boulder, Colorado. you actually get really good grades. Go on and be a doctor, a lawyer, or something, a real profession. But I thought, I was working at a clothing store at the time, and I thought, I'm going to be a manager here, and I'm going to catapult myself to New York City where I can study theater and acting once I get to New York. So I had this master plan. And I was actually setting up a fashion show at the Denver Merchandise Mart, and the photographer kept taking pictures of me, and he was like, "Getting you next change of clothes." I thought, I'm running the show. I'm not modeling in it. And then he turned the pictures over to my one and only agent my whole career, Vicki Light, who had the Light Company in Denver, and said, "Look at this girl, she looks like it was the time of the Kelly Embergs and, just all-American, wholesome, blonde-haired, blue-eyed." And he asked me if I'd ever modeled, and I said no, and he invited me to do a test, and I went and did all these athletic clothes, tennis outfits, this and that, and they came out as JCPenney ads that next weekend in the Denver Post. And then he paid me, and it was a little bit better than what I was making, I think, at my department store job. And that kind of started the ball rolling, and I told Vicki Light that I really didn't want to be a model. I wanted to be an actress, and she said, "Well, you can use modeling to get yourself to New York. You're right. And, commercials, and you should study. You need to go to New York and study theater." And that's what I did. I went to New York. 4.5 years later, she said, "I'll see you in 5 years." Well, we did it in 4. But I came back, and Vicki Light was my agent and launched my career.
That's amazing. Now, I read that Leonard Katzman tailor-made the role of April for you because he had seen you in other things, like a pilot for Aaron Spelling.
Aaron Spelling was my first job in Hollywood. It was a great job. Oh, excuse my dog. They were working next door. She's not having these workmen. But no, Leonard left the show. He left Dallas for a while.
That's right.
And he wanted to do something else. And he did a show called Our Family Honor with Chuck and Larry Gordon. And he was one of the executive producers and directed the pilot. And he was instrumental in hiring me on Our Family Honor, which was The Sopranos, but way before its time. It was a little too early for The Sopranos because it was the Irish Catholic cops versus the mafia.
Oh,
and
I'm from Boston, so yeah.
Exactly. So you're familiar with this? But anyway, Leonard didn't stay with Our Family Honor, and that lasted 13 episodes. But what was happening is that Larry and Patrick were begging him back because in the year that he was gone, the new executive producers, they took the storylines in so many different directions. It was just, they were losing the ratings.
Right.
And Larry said to CBS, "I'll put up $1 million if you'll put up $1 million. It might take $2 million to get Leonard Katzman back." He was bluffing. He goes, "I was hoping they didn't take me up on my offer." But they wooed Leonard back. He decided that the storylines were such a mess that the only way he could bring Patrick back is through, it was all a dream. We were just going to forgive, the audience would just forgive that the whole last year was just a dream and he was in the shower. And she woke up like, "What?" And yet he called me into his office. He made an appointment. He said, "JR needs a nemesis. And you just play this little vixen so well, and I think that you should come on board." And, he said, "It's favored nations here. Everybody's the same. We're such a great group." Da, 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 da. I walked out of his office. I called Vicki Light. I said, "Either I'm crazy or I think he just offered me a job on Dallas." And that's how it actually began, because we enjoyed working. Well, I loved working with him on Our Family Honor, and of course on Dallas. He was a brilliant man, and I feel very honored and blessed that he thought enough to bring me over. And that's pretty much how it all came to fruition.
Well, I remember, I think your very first scene on Dallas, weren't you on a beach with a bikini? I think.
Well, it wasn't a beach. I was in a bikini.
Okay.
And Cliff Barnes came to visit me, and I think I was rubbing, this is so embarrassing, I was rubbing like suntan lotion on my stomach or something. He hands me his card, and I tucked it into my bikini bottom.
I do. I remember. See, my Italian grandmother watched Dallas.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't allowed to by my parents, but when she would babysit me on Friday nights, she would make me watch Dallas with her. You know, she's like, "You be quiet, I'm watching my stories," and she loved to yell and swear in Italian at the TV, and so I got hooked on it. So I would.
I love that.
I had this little tiny portable black and white TVs. Remember those?
Oh, sure.
And so at night when I was at home at my parents' house, I'd pretend to go to bed and I'd hide under the covers with a black and white TV on and little earbuds. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you are scandalous.
I know, right? So I remember that scene. Yeah.
The tricks that our children play on us.
Yeah.
But I'm honored. But yes, it was just the greatest show to be on. I mean, seriously, my biggest issue every day was, how was I going to stay serious? How could I just not laugh all day long? Because Patrick and Larry they're just cards. They're freaking frat. They just bounced off each other. They were so funny and played so many practical jokes on the crew, on the cast, on everywhere. You just laughed the whole time. You would laugh till you cried. And then the makeup artist would get so mad at me, and he'd go, Larry, Patrick, stop it. She's crying. My mascara is running down my face because I couldn't stay serious long enough. No, that was one of those rare, magical experiences in life. I can't even call it a job because I would have paid them to do it. But it was just great. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I've read about Larry being a prankster, and again, I'm sorry for your loss, and the whole world felt that, you know.
Oh, I know. You know, he was a magical director down to his last moments. He called me and said, Sheree, you haven't seen my one-man show. Get down here. I said, well, I'm coming down from White Bridal has a fundraiser, and I wanted to know if you'd be the honorary chair. And, of course I will. And I went down. I spent the whole week before he passed with him.
Oh.
We went to his one-man show, which was just brilliant. And he knew he was sick again. He didn't know for sure, but he walked the red carpet at my charity event. He generously, his foundation donated with Miss Lisa Blue, $5,000 to White Bridal Society, this equine therapy program that for kids with autism and special needs kids that I help support and help founded. But he was just grace till his last moments. He was smiling at everybody, took pictures with everybody, and the next day he got on a flight to Houston, MD Anderson, to go do some tests, and he got an infection from the test.
Oh, wow.
And a week later he was gone. And he had planned Thanksgiving. He had invited his entire family. He called all of his friends in. He did it Larry's way.
Yeah.
He was still the director, and he orchestrated it perfectly. It has grandchildren and his son and daughter and everybody who loved him. Linda and Patrick were there. Everybody was there. So if you're going to go, might as well go with all the love in the world surrounding you.
Yeah, I woke up that day, and I woke up early, and that was the first thing I read. And it was, I went on Twitter, and everybody was just, saying, "Oh my God," And my friend,
I know it happened so fast because literally, I was at dinner, I was at his one-man show, he was at a fundraiser. I mean, we were dining and just carrying on with the full expression of life the week prior. So I feel really fortunate, and little crazy things happen, and I just know that he's just winking. And I have a walking stick that I was going to give to him, and it's a beautiful hand-carved walking stick, and I have it up in the tree, and all of a sudden, it's like it shifts positions.
Oh, wow.
To get into the light. I have a little spotlight in my backyard. I go, he wanted to find his light. I could see that.
That's great. I did read him say he wanted to play JR till the day he died, and he did.
He did. Much. He did. And, that last little thing, did you see the little thing where he said, I love you, Larry. I love you, JR. He winked into the camera. It was the last thing he ever said on camera.
Oh, yeah.
It was a beautiful thing. And he knew that was his last day on set. He kind of had a tear in his eye. But, no, he played JR till the end. So, God bless him.
No.
He's the man. JR is the villain that we all love to hate because he would stab you in the back with just that little wry grin. You just never felt the knife going in.
Yeah, my Nana loves to swear at him in Italian. I think that's how I learned. That's the only Italian I know. It's from her swearing at JR.
My son is taking Italian. I'll have to ask him if he knows any of those words. No.
Now, April must have been a really fun character to play because she was smart, but she was, well, at first anyway, she was conniving. And
well, this is what's so interesting is that JR had, anybody who goes up against JR, it was always a divide and conquer, or, you were a mistress or something. And if you slept with JR, you really lasted about 6 to 13 episodes because you're a revolving door. But I had I had 5% of UA oil, and he had $100 million. So I thought it was a very, very nice little pillow talk exchange to give him Ewing oil back, his percentage, because that's what he really wanted, and I wanted $100 million, to work so hard.
Yeah.
So anyway, they made April because thankfully they wanted to keep me, so they couldn't keep me as a bad girl. And so I had to become a good girl and ultimately marry the ultimate good guy, which is Bobby Ewing. And so it was a really wonderful metamorphosis of being a character that I would go to work and I don't care. I was, if I was mad at the plumber or anybody I was mad at, I could just take it out on the set. And you go home so happy because you vented all your frustration at work.
That's great.
You get to be so dastardly.
Yeah.
But then, it was good to be sweet, too.
I remember, a pivotal point in the character was Tommy McKay, played by J. Eddie Peck, when he did some of your finest acting when he really beat the crap out of April. And those are some intense scenes that you did there.
It's true. He was a bad boy.
Yeah.
He was a very bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
And what a sweet man. And that's the brilliance of acting. I find that most of the time, the ones that play the worst characters, like somebody who could actually hit a woman, or an abuser, or whatever, serial killer, they're usually the sweetest people on the planet.
Yep, I've found that too with people I've talked with. It's funny, yes. Like Gordon Thompson, who played Adam Carrington, who was from Dynasty. He's such a good guy. I don't know if you met him on Vanity on the set.
I didn't, but I know him,
Mm-hmm.
of course.
Mm-hmm.
But just, they're the sweetest people on the planet.
It's funny too, the weird, well, I don't believe a coincidence, but my friend Sheree J, who did the last 6 or 7 episodes of the series in the last season, and she played Susan Lucci's daughter's best friend or something, and she actually was on The Young and the Restless, co-starred J. Eddie Peck.
Oh my God!
And it's funny because you and she just missed each other in Dallas, but you interacted with the same actors like Susan Lucci and J. Eddie Peck.
I know. Susan Lucci, she's such an icon. I mean, forget about it. I mean, it was just perfect. This little petite thing. She was so evil.
I know.
So evil. But I like your storyline. I like it a lot. I like that theory.
I think it could work, and I've thought about this since I was about 12 years old. So,
yay!
Now you're an equestrian, which is really another weird thing because this week everybody I've talked to, you're the third interview I've done who's been an equestrian.
Well, I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, and I grew up riding horses. And I believe that my childhood is the direct result of me wanting to be an actress because we would saddle up. These were the days when my sister had a horse, my best friend had a horse, her sister had a horse, and the four of us, we would get our lunches and put it in our back, saddle rolls. And we would saddle up and take off for the day. And we would go up into the mountains, and we would just be gone all day. And we were like, the Indians are chasing us. Oh, my God. And you'd go to a stream and you drink water. And my whole life was just living in my imagination and, telling stories. And, I can't imagine telling my child at this point, oh, yeah, just go off on a horse into the mountains where I don't know where you are. I don't have a tracking device to say, find my child, find my phone, find my child.
Right.
Just be home before dark. And we were in trouble. We would have to hightail it. We would see the sun setting. We're like, oh, my gosh. And if my dad's lights on the truck were on, I knew I was in trouble because it was dark. But, no, I grew up riding horses, and then when I went to Texas and shot Dallas and Walker, Texas Ranger, I went back into the equestrian world and started riding the rodeo circuit on cutting horses and for charities. So that was really fun. And I actually missed that a lot about not living in Texas because there's not a lot of cutting events out here. I'm not riding much anymore, but no, any chance I get, I'll jump on a horse.
Now, speaking of Walker, Texas Ranger, you were on there for 9 seasons, but you played Alex, who was a good girl.
Yes, Alex was the assistant district attorney, and she was a very good girl. She was above, and she was all about the law and upholding the law, and a very different character. And I love the fact that, our story, it's like the Lone Ranger. I'm called Walker, Texas Ranger, like the Lone Ranger. It was like the good guys always win, the bad guys always go to jail, they always had consequences, and you pretty much got kicked in the head if you had a gun in the first place. So it was a very simple formula of good versus evil, and I think that we need a lot. I mean, JR was evil, but you kind of forgave him.
Yeah.
And, it's like that's the soap opera drama. But in Walker, Texas Ranger, I love that our show always had some sort of moral message. And it was inspiring because sometimes when you turn on the news, you get really discouraged. And that's why you escape to entertainment and fantasy, because you want to know that the good guys are always going to win. And the bad guys are always going to have consequences. And that was kind of our simple formula, but it really worked. And that was a totally different type of fun because one day, even though I was a district attorney, I think I was kidnapped and abducted about every other week. I don't know anybody who's been kidnapped so much. I could see Penelope on the railroad tracks waiting for Dudley Do-Right to rescue me. But his name was Chuck Norris. But no, it was, I could be chased by a bear. I would be rappelling down a cliff. I'd be landing a 747, blowing up a neighborhood. We did so much. I mean, there was so much action. And we were 5 days out of 7 on location.
Wow. Somewhere
out in the world with 2 units going at all times. And so it was never a dull moment. I have to say that.
Well, you've been on 2 such hugely successful series. I'm sure anywhere you go, people are going to recognize you for at least one of them.
I don't know what my magnetic pull to Texas is, but I've had two very successful shows spanning, over 13 years in Dallas and Walker. So I'm waiting for third one's the charm, if anybody out there is listening.
Well, maybe my theory will catch on for the new Dallas. 'Cause I would love to see April back, and I really do like the new show. The only thing, I just wish they'd have some of the classic characters more. That's the only thing
I agree.
I would like. And I really liked you and Charlene Tilton when you two interacted, but then they seem to have dropped that plot on the original show.
Well, I don't know why, because I adore Charlene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's wonderful, wonderful as a human being. She's just, she's just a great person. Everybody on that show was just phenomenal. I mean, Patrick, Linda, forget about it. I don't think that there's an angel on earth more that can, they brush wings with Linda Gray, but also Charlene. Charlene is teaching acting to kids that are autistic.
Aww.
I mean, she just has such a big heart, and she's so talented. And that little package is just hosts a whole lot of talent and a big heart.
That's true.
So.
Now, one last question for you guys. I want to ask you about doing Vanity. Now, what was it like doing a web soap after being on primetime? Did it feel a lot different, or?
Actually, no. I said to Michael, because he asked me the same question, I was asked before, and I said, do you know what it is? It's like, I went to work every day, and yes, there's a SWAT team that was on Dallas, hair, makeup, the crew, grip gaffers, props, you name it. But we were such a family. And I just loved everybody that I worked with, the crew, the cast, and the upper echelon, Leonard. And the only different, and it was bigger than life. You know that you're just playing, and it's a farce, and it's like you can be so bold because it's a soap, and that's what you're supposed to do. It's like dramatize life. And when Michael and Barbara, and I swear it was just a microcosm. I went there, I fell in love with them. Everybody, it was a much smaller crew. Mm-hmm. you shot all your scenes in one day, and that was it. And it was so much fun because, of course, I get to play the evil, horrible mother.
You did amazing, by the way. I thought it was great.
It was horrific. I mean, she's just selling her daughters off. I'm fresh out of daughters. Oh my God. I mean, it's like, how despicable is that statement? And I am a mother of beautiful children that I love and would do anything for. So I'm like, the thought of that, it's just the antithesis of, it's so funny. But it's just so much fun to play. And I just love the Vanity because they are so over the top.
Oh, yeah.
They are completely entrenched in just I mean, it's almost a spoof on soaps, but it's the soaps at its best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just
That's
love
exactly
them.
what I think, too. I told Michael pretty much the same thing, and I thought that was one of your best scenes I've ever seen. And Michael does a great job writing for...
Oh, he's amazing. Mm-hmm. He's amazing because he has a love, like you, I can tell, of these... he grew up on them, the soap operas, and he just wrote delicious things, and so it was really a joy and just fun to go play. And a lot of my Dallas, Charlene and Steve, and it's great. It's great that everybody, he's really been successful because he is writing. His writing is so great that it's just fun to go and play.
Yeah, that's a great show. It's sad that it ended, but I'm looking forward to his new projects. And
I know. I expect something brilliant coming soon.
Now, what do you have in store? Is there anything you want to tell people that you have coming up, or no?
Well, I just have Easy Rider, The Ride Back. Yeah, I produced and star in this prequel to the original Easy Rider. It's out right now.
Awesome.
We didn't go theatrical, but it's out on DVD, iTunes, Amazon, you name it, you can find it.
Oh, cool.
And I've got a crazy zombie comedy coming out this fall.
Awesome.
A zombie called Dug Up.
I love that.
It's a zombie.
That's great.
And I play a very over-the-top, drinking out of a bottle, have a wine bottle. I'm a sheriff's assistant, and all the zombies are coming in. And their town is going helter-skelter. Sheriff.
I got to see that.
So, and I've actually got 3 projects in development. One, we're finishing financing on a psychological thriller called Line 7. I also have a game show, a reality show, and a scripted show, all in development.
Wow.
And I'm probably going to sell my reality show. I'm going to have the sizzle done on Monday. But I would love to come back on when I sell some of the shows, and I'll continue the conversation.
Absolutely. I would love that. And I will definitely put all the links on my site, and people can follow you at Sheree J. Wilson on Twitter and like your Facebook page.
You know, I'm just new to Twitter. I've only tweeted, I think, 300 times, so bear with me. I'm not the best. I'm like a dinosaur. Everybody's more savvy. It's like, really?
Yeah, it'll catch you, though. It'll get you. It took me, I didn't join until October 2012, and I was reluctant, and then it just kind of bit me.
It takes over?
Yeah.
It takes over? Okay, well, I was never on Facebook before either, so, I mean, Facebook has a life without me, whether I just get tagged, so I feel like I'm on Facebook.
Right, exactly.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you so much, Sheree. It's been an honor and a pleasure to talk with you.
Oh, it was really delightful. Thank you so much.
All right. Best of luck with everything.
Bye.
Bye. That was really surreal for me at first, but Sheree could not have been nicer or more down to earth. I'm so glad she took the time to chat with me, and I'm really looking forward to checking out her other projects. So if you have a theory or a way to bring April back, tweet it. Post it on Facebook. Let the people at TNT know that you want April back on the new Dallas, because that would be awesome. Once again, thank you for listening to Rad 1 Radio. And coming up, next, I have Gordon Thompson, who played Adam Carrington on Dynasty. Primetime Soap fans, I hope you enjoy. Good night.
This is Rad 1 Radio.